The voicemail came through at 11:47 p.m. while I was loading boxes into my car. My name is Rachel. I'm 25 years old. And the last thing my mother said to me before everything changed was this: "You're dead to me. Don't ever come back to this house." I mean it, Rachel. You're not my daughter anymore. Her voice was ice cold, each word calculated to hurt. I stood there in the driveway, phone pressed to my ear, listening to her disown me over a voicemail she didn't even have the courage to deliver to my face. She was inside the house, probably watching me from behind the curtains, too proud to come out and say it in person. I didn't cry. I didn't call her back. I didn't bang on the door begging for forgiveness like she probably expected. Instead, I got in my car, turned off my phone, and drove away from the only home I'd ever known. What my mom didn't realize was that her cruel little voicemail had just freed me from years of guilt. And by the time the sun came up, when my phone powered back onto 47 missed calls and dozens of desperate texts, it was already too late. She wanted me gone. I made sure she got exactly what she wished for, and the consequences nearly destroyed her. Stay with me until the end, and I'll show you exactly what happens when a mother's cruelty becomes the weapon that cuts both ways. Because sometimes, the sweetest revenge is simply taking someone at their word. To understand why that voicemail felt less like a rejection and more like a release, you need to know what my relationship with my mother actually looked like. Margaret Chin. That's my mom. To the outside world, she was the perfect immigrant success story. Came to America with nothing, worked her way up, raised 2 kids, owned a beautiful home in the suburbs. Everyone in our community loved her. They saw the woman who volunteered at the cultural center, who brought elaborate dishes to every potluck, who bragged endlessly about her children's accomplishments. What they didn't see was the woman who turned affection into currency and wielded guilt like a knife. My older brother, David, was the golden child. Doctor, married to another doctor, 2 perfect grandchildren, living in a house 10 minutes away from mom's. He could do no wrong. Every family gathering centered around his achievements, his kids, his opinions. And then there was me. I graduated with honors. I had a good job as a graphic designer. I paid my own bills, had my own apartment. But none of that mattered because I had committed the ultimate sin in my mother's eyes. I was still unmarried at 25. Every family dinner became an interrogation. Rachel, did you meet anyone this week? Rachel, your cousin Linda just got engaged, and she's 2 years younger than you. Rachel, I saw Mrs. Wong's daughter at the market. Even she has a boyfriend now. The implication was always clear. I was failing, falling behind, embarrassing her. Then came the setup. 3 months before the voicemail, my mom informed me that her friend's son, Kevin, would be joining us for dinner. "He's very successful," she said, showing me his photo like I was browsing a catalog. "Engineer. Good family. You should make an effort, Rachel. Wear something nice." I went to that dinner. I wore something nice. Kevin was perfectly polite and perfectly boring. We had nothing in common. He spent the entire meal talking about cryptocurrency and his gym routine. When he asked for my number at the end of the night, I gave it to him to avoid a scene. He texted me every day. I responded politely but distantly. My mom called constantly. "Kevin said you're being cold to him. His mother says you haven't agreed to a second date. Why are you trying to ruin this, Rachel?" When I finally told her I wasn't interested in Kevin, she acted like I had personally attacked her. "Do you know how embarrassing this is for me?" she screamed. "I told his mother you were excited to meet him. Now what do I tell her? That my daughter is too picky? Too selfish?" "Mom, I just don't like him," I said, trying to stay calm. "You don't like anyone," she snapped. "That's your problem. You think you're too good for everyone. You're not getting any younger, Rachel. Soon no one will want you, and you'll end up alone." The comments got worse. Every conversation became about my failures. My brother's wife, Jennifer, got pregnant with their 3rd child, and Mom threw an elaborate party. I showed up with gifts and congratulations, but within 10 minutes, she was making announcements. "Can you believe it?" she said loudly to a room full of relatives. "Jennifer and David are giving me a 3rd grandchild. Meanwhile, Rachel can't even keep a boyfriend for more than a few months." The room went quiet. I felt dozens of eyes on me, some pitying, others judgmental. My brother smirked. Jennifer looked uncomfortable but said nothing. I excused myself to the bathroom and left the party early. That's when the plans started forming in my head. Not revenge exactly, but something else. A realization that I had been centering my entire life around her approval, and it was never coming. No matter what I did, it would never be enough because the problem wasn't my achievements. It was that I wasn't performing the life she wanted to show off. I started documenting things. Not because I planned to use them, but because I needed to see the pattern clearly. I screenshotted text messages where she compared me to cousins, friends' daughters, random women at church. I saved voicemails where she critiqued my appearance, my job, my apartment, my hobbies. I kept a journal of every comment, every comparison, every time she made me feel like I was fundamentally defective. Then came the incident that led to the voicemail. David and Jennifer were hosting a family barbecue. I almost didn't go. But my mom had called me that morning, her voice uncharacteristically sweet. "Please come, Rachel. I know things have been tense. Let's just have a nice family day." Against my better judgment, I went. The afternoon started fine. Kids running around, burgers on the grill, the usual small talk. Then my mom's sister, Aunt Susan, arrived with her daughter, my cousin Emily. Emily had just gotten engaged. The ring was massive, the fiancé was apparently perfect, and the wedding was already being planned. My mom's eyes lit up in a way they never did for me. She pulled Emily into the center of the yard, calling everyone over. "Look at this ring. Look at this beautiful girl. Emily, tell everyone about Daniel. Isn't this wonderful?" Emily blushed and showed off the ring. Everyone cooed and congratulated her. I smiled and added my congratulations too, genuinely happy for her. Then my mom turned to me, and her expression shifted into something cruel. "See, Rachel? This is what happens when you don't waste your 20s being picky." Emily knew what she wanted. She made herself available. She didn't act like she was too good for everyone. The yard went silent. Even Emily looked uncomfortable. "Aunt Margaret, that's not," she started. "It's fine," I said quietly. "Congratulations again, Emily. I'm happy for you." I tried to walk away, but my mom wasn't done. She followed me toward the house, her voice rising. "Don't you dare walk away from me when I'm talking to you. This is exactly your problem, Rachel. You can't handle the truth. You're selfish and stubborn, and you're going to end up alone because you think you're better than everyone else." Something inside me snapped. Not into anger, but into clarity. I turned around slowly. The entire party was watching now. David was standing by the grill, arms crossed, doing nothing. Jennifer was holding their youngest, looking down. Aunt Susan had her hand over her mouth. Emily looked horrified. "I'm going to leave now," I said, my voice steady. "And I think it's best if we take some space from each other for a while." My mom's face went red. "Space? You ungrateful child. After everything I've done for you? I sacrificed everything to give you a good life, and this is how you repay me." "You didn't sacrifice for me," I said quietly. "You sacrificed me. For your image. For your bragging rights. I'm not a trophy you get to polish or a failure you get to point at. I'm your daughter, and I deserve better than this." I walked to my car. Behind me, I heard my mother's voice, shrill and desperate. "If you leave right now, don't bother coming back. Do you hear me, Rachel? I mean it." I got in my car and drove away. When I got home, I started packing. Not just clothes for a few days, but everything. My lease was almost up anyway. I had been thinking about moving to a different city for a better job opportunity. This felt like a sign. At 11:47 p.m., the voicemail came through. I listened to it once, saved it, and added it to my collection. Then I finished packing, loaded my car, and left my apartment. I drove to my best friend Maya's place across town. She had offered to let me crash while I figured out my next move. "Are you okay?" she asked when she saw my face. "I am," I said. And surprisingly, I meant it. I really am. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. The most peaceful sleep I'd had in months. When I powered my phone back on at 7:30 a.m., it exploded with notifications. 47 missed calls. 63 text messages. 12 voicemails. I sat on Maya's couch, coffee in hand, and watched the numbers climb as more calls came in. Most were from my mom's number. But there were also calls from David, from Jennifer, from Aunt Susan, from family friends I barely spoke to, even from Kevin's mother. The texts ranged from angry to desperate to confused. From Mom, Rachel, where are you? Answer your phone right now. This is ridiculous. Stop being dramatic. Rachel, I'm serious. Call me back. Are you trying to worry me to death? Your brother is looking for you. Rachel, please just tell me you're safe. I'm sorry, okay? Just come home. Rachel, please. I'm begging you. From David, Mom is freaking out. What did you do? Rachel, this isn't funny. Call her back. Seriously, call her. She's calling everyone. From Aunt Susan, Rachel, honey, your mother is very upset. Please reach out to her. I scrolled through them all, feeling strangely detached. Maya sat next to me, reading over my shoulder. Wow, she said. She went from you're dead to me to I'm begging you in less than 12 hours. Yeah, I said. I opened the voicemail app and started listening to the messages my mom had left overnight. The first few were angry. Rachel, I know you're ignoring me. This is childish. You can't just disappear because I told you the truth you needed to hear. Then concerned, Rachel, it's been hours. Where are you? At least text me so I know you're alive. Then panicked, Rachel, please. I'm sorry if I was harsh yesterday. You know I just want what's best for you. Please call me back. Then desperate, Rachel, I'm your mother. You can't do this to me. What if something happened to you? How would I live with myself? Please, baby, just let me know you're okay. The final voicemail, left at 6:58 a.m., was her crying. Actually sobbing. Rachel, please come home. I don't know what I said that was so bad. I love you. You're my daughter. Please just come back. We can talk about everything. I promise I'll listen. Just please come home. I set the phone down. Maya looked at me expectantly. What are you going to do? Nothing, I said. Nothing. She told me not to come back. She told me I was dead to her. I'm just respecting her wishes. Maya grinned. Damn. Cold. No, I said, picking up my phone again. Cold is what she's been doing to me for years. This is just boundaries. But I knew my mom wouldn't see it that way. And I knew this was just the beginning. So I did something I'd been planning in the back of my mind since I started documenting everything. I opened my laptop and created a new folder. Inside, I organized every screenshot, every voicemail, every journal entry. Years of documented emotional abuse, public humiliation, and manipulation. I wasn't sure what I'd do with it yet. But I knew that if she tried to twist the story, if she tried to play the victim to our entire community, I would have proof. Real, undeniable proof of what she'd been doing to me. Are you going to post all that? Maya asked, seeing the folder. Only if I have to, I said. But something tells me I'm going to have to. I was right. Because by noon, the calls weren't just from family anymore. They were from people in our community, family friends, even people from my mom's church. And the story they'd been told was very different from the truth. Mrs. Wong called. Rachel, dear, I heard you had a fight with your mother and ran away. She's so worried about you. You know she loves you very much. Maybe you should apologize and go home. Ran away. Apologize. As if I were a rebellious teenager and not a 25-year-old woman who'd been told she was dead to her own mother. I kept my response polite. Thank you for your concern, Mrs. Wong. I'm fine. My mother and I need some space right now. But Rachel, she's your mother. Family is everything. Whatever she said, I'm sure she didn't mean it. I wanted to play her the voicemail. Instead, I said, thank you for calling, and hung up. The calls kept coming. Each person had a slightly different version of events, but the core narrative was the same. I had overreacted to some minor comment, disappeared without telling anyone, and was now punishing my poor, worried mother who just loved me too much. That's when I knew. She was controlling the narrative. She was playing the victim. She was making herself the wronged party while I became the cruel, ungrateful daughter who abandoned her mother over nothing. I opened my laptop again and looked at my folder of evidence. Then I made a decision. I created a private blog, locked it with a password, and uploaded everything. Every screenshot. Every voicemail transcription. Every journal entry with dates and details. I organized it chronologically, so the pattern was impossible to miss. Then I created a simple post with the title, "The Truth About Why I Left." In it, I wrote, "My mother told me I was dead to her and to never come back. I respected her wishes. Everything that happened before that moment is documented below. I'm not sharing this publicly yet. But if the lies continue, if she continues to twist this story to make me the villain, I will make this public. I will send the link to every person she's called, every member of our community, every family friend who's been fed a false narrative. This is not revenge. This is self-defense." I saved the draft but didn't publish it. Instead, I sent a single text message to my mother. "I have documented everything. Every comment. Every voicemail. Every public humiliation. If you continue to lie about why I left, I will make it all public. The choice is yours." Then I blocked her number and went about my day. I had a life to rebuild. A job interview in a new city to prepare for. An apartment to find. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. But if you think my mom would just accept that boundary and leave me alone, you don't know Margaret Chen. Because 3 days later, she showed up at Maya's apartment. And that's when things got really interesting. The knock came at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. Maya answered the door, and I heard my mother's voice from the bedroom. "I need to see my daughter. I know she's here." My heart started racing. Maya looked back at me, eyebrows raised, silently asking what I wanted to do. I took a deep breath, walked to the door, and stood behind Maya. "Hi, Mom." She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back messily, eyes red and swollen. She was wearing sweatpants, which I'd never seen her wear in public before. "Rachel," she breathed. "Thank God. I've been so worried." "I texted you that I was fine," I said evenly. "A text? One text in 3 days? Do you have any idea what I've been going through? Do you have any idea what I've been going through for years?" I countered. She flinched. "Can we please talk? Alone." I looked at Maya. She squeezed my shoulder. "I'll be in my room if you need me." My mom and I sat in the living room, an awkward distance between us on the couch. She twisted her hands together, a gesture I recognized from childhood. She did it when she was anxious. "Rachel, I don't understand why you're doing this," she started. "I'm your mother. Yes, we had a fight, but families fight. You don't just disappear. You don't threaten me. Threaten you." I repeated. I set a boundary. I said if you keep lying about what happened, I'll share the truth. "What lies?" she demanded, her voice rising. "I told people we had an argument and you left." "That's exactly what happened. You told them I ran away over a minor comment. You made yourself the victim. You left out the part where you told me I was dead to you and to never come back." Her face flushed. I was angry. "You humiliated me in front of the entire family." "I humiliated you?" I stared at her. "Mom, you've been humiliating me at every family gathering for years. You compared me to Emily in front of everyone. You've made comments about my age, my relationship status, my worth as a person since I was 20 years old. That's not fair," she said, tears welling up. "I just wanted you to be happy. I wanted you to have what everyone else has." "No," I said firmly. "You wanted me to give you what everyone else's daughters gave them. Bragging rights. A son-in-law to show off. Grandchildren to post about. You didn't care if I was happy. You cared if I looked successful in front of your friends." She shook her head violently. "That's not true. I love you, Rachel. Everything I did was because I love you. Love doesn't humiliate. Love doesn't compare. Love doesn't tell someone they're dead to you and then panic when they actually leave." "I didn't mean it," she whispered. "Yes, you did," I said. "In that moment, you absolutely meant it. You just didn't think I'd actually take you seriously. You thought I'd come crawling back, apologizing, begging for forgiveness like I always did. But I'm done with that pattern, Mom. I'm done shrinking myself to make you comfortable." She was crying now, mascara-free tears running down her face. "So what, you're just going to cut me out of your life? I'm your mother, Rachel. You only get one mother. And you only get one daughter," I replied. "But you treated me like I was disposable. Like I was a disappointment. Like my value was tied to whether I met your checklist. You pushed me away, Mom. I'm just finally staying away. Please, she begged. Please don't do this. Come home. We can work this out. I'll try to be better. I promise. I looked at her, and for a moment, I saw the mother I'd loved as a child. The one who braided my hair and packed my lunch and came to my school plays. But I also saw the woman who had slowly, methodically chipped away at my self-worth for years. I need you to understand something, I said slowly. I'm not coming back until you can actually acknowledge what you've done. Not, I'm sorry if you felt bad. Not, I was just trying to help. Real accountability. And I need you to stop telling people your version of events. The truth is documented. If you keep lying, I will share it. Her expression shifted. The sadness hardened into something else. You would really do that? You would really humiliate me publicly like that? You humiliated me publicly for years, I said. I'm just asking you to tell the truth. She stood up abruptly. You've changed, Rachel. This isn't you. Someone's been putting ideas in your head. No one put ideas in my head, Mom. I just finally started believing I deserved better. Better than your own family, she spat. Better than being treated like a failure for not living the exact life you planned for me. She stared at me for a long moment, and I saw her realize that tears and guilt wouldn't work this time. Fine, she said coldly. If this is what you want, then fine. But don't come crying to me when you realize how hard life is without family support. Don't come back when you need help and realize no one else will be there for you. Mom. No, Rachel. You want to be independent? You want to reject everything I've tried to give you? Then be independent. See how that works out for you. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Before she left, she turned back one more time. You're going to regret this. Mark my words. The door slammed behind her. I sat frozen on the couch, adrenaline coursing through my body. Maya emerged from her room cautiously. Are you okay? I don't know, I admitted. I think I just lost my mom. No, Maya said, sitting beside me and pulling me into a hug. I think you just saved yourself. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the conversation, second-guessing myself. Maybe I'd been too harsh. Maybe I should have been more understanding. Maybe I was throwing away my relationship with my mother over something that could be fixed. But then I went back and listened to the voicemails. I reread the texts. I looked at my journal entries from the past 5 years, page after page of pain and self-doubt that had become so normalized I'd forgotten it wasn't okay. And I realized Maya was right. I wasn't losing my mother. I was refusing to lose myself anymore. The next morning, I woke up to more missed calls. But this time, they weren't from my mom. They were from David. I called him back. What's going on, David? What's going on? His voice was tight with anger. What's going on is that Mom is falling apart. She's barely eating. She's not sleeping. She locked herself in her room for an entire day yesterday. Jennifer is worried about her. I'm worried about her. And it's all because of you. Because of me? I repeated. You know Mom can be dramatic, Rachel. You know how she is. But you also know she loves us. Whatever she said, you didn't have to run away and refuse to talk to her. Do you have any idea how much stress you've put her under? I felt the old guilt rising, the instinct to apologize, to make it better. Then I remembered something. David, did Mom tell you what she said to me? She said you guys had a fight about. Did she tell you she said I was dead to her and to never come back? Silence. Did she tell you she's been comparing me to every other woman in our community for years? Did she tell you about all the times she humiliated me in front of the family? Did she tell you she set me up with Kevin without asking me, then blamed me when I wasn't interested? Rachel, she's our mom. She just wants. I know what she wants, David. She wants a daughter she can show off. And I'm sorry I'm not that. I'm sorry I'm not Jennifer. I'm sorry I don't have your life. But I'm done apologizing for existing differently than she planned. This is ridiculous, he said. You're being so dramatic. So, what if she made some comments? So, what if she pushed you toward Kevin? Parents do that. It's annoying, but it's not abuse. The word hung in the air. I never said abuse, I said quietly. But that's what you're implying, right? That Mom abused you? That she's some terrible monster? Come on, Rachel. We grew up in the same house. She sacrificed everything for us. She sacrificed differently for us, I said. You were the golden child, David. You've always been exactly what she wanted. You never had to hear that you were a disappointment. You never had to defend your life choices at every family gathering. You never had to feel like your existence was embarrassing to her. That's not. It is, I interrupted. And the fact that you didn't notice proves my point. You didn't have to notice because it wasn't happening to you. But it was happening to me, David. For years. And I documented all of it. Another silence. What do you mean, documented? I mean, I have proof. Screenshots. Voicemails. Journal entries. Years of them. And if Mom keeps playing the victim, if she keeps telling people I'm the problem, I'm going to make it all public. You wouldn't, he breathed. I don't want to, I said honestly. But I also won't let her destroy my reputation while pretending she's the one who got hurt. She told me not to come back, David. I'm just doing what she asked. Rachel, please. Just think about what this is doing to the family. Aunt Susan is asking questions. People at church are talking. If you release whatever you have, it's going to humiliate all of us. Then maybe Mom should stop lying about what happened. This is insane, he said. You're talking about publicly shaming our mother over some family drama. No, I corrected. I'm talking about defending myself with the truth. There's a difference. He was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was colder. You know what, Rachel? Maybe Mom was right. Maybe you're selfish. The rest of us are trying to hold this family together, and you're threatening to blow it up because you got your feelings hurt. Got my feelings hurt, I repeated slowly. David, she told me I was dead to her. She was angry. People say things when they're angry. And I'm setting boundaries. People do that when they're done being treated like garbage. Fine, he snapped. Do whatever you want. But don't expect me to be there to pick up the pieces when you realize you threw away your family for nothing. The call ended. I stared at my phone, feeling hollowed out. My mother wasn't the only one I was losing. My brother was choosing her side, just like he always had. But then my phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from Aunt Susan. Rachel, can we meet for coffee? I'd like to hear your side of things. No pressure, just the two of us. I stared at the message, suspicious. Was this a trap? Another person sent to guilt me into coming back? Or was someone finally willing to listen? I decided to take the chance. Okay, when and where? We met the next day at a small cafe far from our neighborhood. Aunt Susan was already there when I arrived, 2 cups of coffee on the table. She stood and hugged me, and I felt myself relax slightly. Thank you for coming, she said as we sat down. Thank you for wanting to listen, I replied carefully. She nodded. Rachel, I'm going to be honest with you. Your mother called me crying. She told me you'd threatened her, that you'd cut off all contact, that she didn't know what she'd done wrong. But, I prompted. But I've known your mother my whole life. She's my younger sister. And I've watched the way she treats you versus how she treats David. I've heard some of the comments she's made. And honestly, after Emily's engagement party, I've been worried about you. My throat tightened. You noticed? Of course I noticed. What she said to you in front of everyone was cruel, Rachel. Emily was mortified. I wanted to say something, but... She trailed off, looking guilty. But she's family, I finished. And we don't call out family. Yes, she admitted. And that was wrong of me. So I'm asking you now, what really happened? What did she say that made you leave? For the first time since this whole thing started, someone was actually asking for my side. Someone was actually willing to consider that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't the villain. So I told her. Everything. The years of comparisons, the constant criticism, the public humiliation, the voicemail. I showed her my phone, played her the message where my mom said I was dead to her. Aunt Susan's hand flew to her mouth. When the voicemail ended, she had tears in her eyes. Oh, Rachel. Oh, honey. I had no idea it was this bad. No one did, I said. Because she only did it to me. And because I was too ashamed to tell anyone. I thought if I just tried harder, if I just achieved more, if I just became the daughter she wanted, it would stop. It wouldn't have stopped, Aunt Susan said firmly. Because the problem isn't you, Rachel. It never was. The problem is that your mother has been living through you, and when you wouldn't let her, she lashed out. Hearing someone else say it, someone from my family, felt like permission to believe what I'd been feeling. "So I'm not crazy?" I asked, my voice small. "You're not crazy. You're setting boundaries. And I'm proud of you for that, even though I know it's hard." "Everyone else thinks I'm the bad guy," I said. "David basically told me I'm destroying the family." Aunt Susan sighed. "David has always had an easier relationship with your mother. He doesn't see what you see because he's never had to. But that doesn't make your experience less valid." "What do I do now?" I asked. "Everyone's calling me. Everyone wants me to come back and apologize. Mom's playing the victim to the entire community." "Can I give you some advice?" she asked gently. I nodded. "Don't respond to anyone except on your own terms. Don't let them bully you into a reconciliation you're not ready for. And as for the community gossip," she paused. "People are going to believe what they want to believe. But the truth has a way of coming out eventually. If you have documentation, keep it safe. You may need it." I already told Mom that if she keeps lying, I'll make it public. Aunt Susan considered this. "That's a powerful card to hold. But Rachel, be prepared. If you play that card, there's no going back. Your relationship with your mother might be permanently damaged. Are you ready for that?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "I think my relationship with my mother has been damaged for a long time," I said slowly. "I've just been pretending it wasn't. Maybe it's time to stop pretending." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Then do what you need to do. And know that at least one person in this family supports you." As I left the cafe, I felt something shift inside me. I wasn't alone. I wasn't crazy. And I had a decision to make about what came next. The decision came faster than I expected. 2 days after my coffee with Aunt Susan, I got a message from a family friend I barely knew. Attached was a screenshot of a Facebook post. It was from my mother's account, posted publicly for all her friends, family, and community members to see. The post read, "It breaks my heart to share this, but I need prayers during this difficult time. My daughter has cut off all contact with me over a minor disagreement. Despite reaching out repeatedly and apologizing, she refuses to speak to me. I'm devastated. I don't know what I did to deserve this treatment from my own child. Please pray for our family and for Rachel to find it in her heart to forgive me. A mother's love is unconditional, but apparently a daughter's is not. #heartbroken, #prayers needed, #difficult children." Below it were dozens of comments. People I knew, people I didn't know, all expressing sympathy for her and judgment toward me. So sad when kids forget everything their parents did for them. "Praying for you, Margaret. Young people these days are so entitled. Your daughter will regret this when you're gone." I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. She had done exactly what I warned her not to do. She had gone public with a lie, painting herself as the victim and me as the cruel, ungrateful daughter. Maya looked over my shoulder and whistled. "Okay, so she chose violence." "She really did," I said, my voice surprisingly calm. "What are you going to do?" I opened my laptop. The private blog post I'd created days ago was still there, locked and unpublished. I had hoped I wouldn't need it. I had hoped she would choose truth over image. But she hadn't. I took a deep breath and unlocked the post. Then I did something I'd never done before. I created a Google Doc, linked it at the top of my blog post, and made it viewable by anyone with the link. The document contained everything. A timeline of events with dates. Screenshots of text messages showing the pattern of criticism. Transcriptions of voicemails. Scanned pages from my journal. Photos of me at family events where I looked visibly uncomfortable. And at the very top, an audio file, the voicemail where she told me I was dead to her. Below it all, I wrote one simple paragraph. "This is my response to my mother's Facebook post. She says I cut her off over a minor disagreement. She says she apologized. She says she doesn't know what she did wrong. I gave her the opportunity to tell the truth privately. She chose to lie publicly instead. So here's the truth. All of it. Documented over years. I'm not doing this to hurt her. I'm doing this to defend myself. If you want to judge me with the full story, not the version she crafted to protect her image." I copied the link. Then I wrote a simple Facebook post of my own and tagged my mother. "Since you decided to make this public, here's the full story. Link. I tried to handle this privately. You wouldn't let me. I hit post before I could second-guess myself. Then I closed my laptop, turned off my phone, and waited. When I turned my phone back on 3 hours later, it had exploded. Hundreds of notifications. My Facebook post had been shared dozens of times. People were reading the document. People were commenting. People were taking sides. But something unexpected had happened. The tide had turned. Aunt Susan had commented, "I've read everything. I believe Rachel. And I'm ashamed I didn't speak up sooner." Emily, my cousin, wrote, "I was at that barbecue. I heard what Aunt Margaret said to Rachel. This is the truth." Even some of my mother's friends were commenting, "Margaret, I had no idea. This explains so much. If this is real, this is abuse." That voicemail is heartbreaking. My mom's original post had been edited. The text was gone, replaced with "post removed." But screenshots of it were everywhere, and people were comparing it to my documentation. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Rachel?" It was Jennifer, my sister-in-law. "Hi," I said cautiously. I read everything. I had no idea. David didn't tell me half of this. He probably didn't know half of it, I said. Or didn't want to see it. He's upset, she admitted. He thinks you went nuclear. But Rachel, I need you to know. I believe you. I've seen some of this myself. The comments at family gatherings, the comparisons. I always thought it was just typical overbearing mom stuff, but seeing it all laid out like this. She trailed off. "I'm sorry. I should have said something." "It's okay," I said, and meant it. "It's not, but thank you." She paused. "Your mom is not doing well. David's with her now. She's devastated that this is public. She keeps saying you've ruined her life." "She ruined it herself," I said quietly. I gave her a chance to be honest. "I know," Jennifer said. "And for what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. It's brave. And I hope someday your mom can see that." After we hung up, I scrolled through more comments. Some people still defended my mom. "Families should keep this private. She's still your mother. This is disrespectful." But more people were on my side. People sharing their own stories of difficult parents. People thanking me for speaking up. People saying they wished they'd had the courage to set boundaries with their own families. One comment stood out, from a woman I didn't know. "My daughter cut me off 2 years ago. I told everyone she was cruel and ungrateful." But reading this made me realize I did the same things to her. I'm going to reach out and actually apologize this time. Thank you for sharing this. I read that comment 3 times, tears streaming down my face. Maybe this wasn't just about me and my mom anymore. Maybe it was about breaking a cycle. About showing other people it was okay to choose themselves. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text from David. "We need to talk. In person." We met at a neutral location, a park halfway between where he lived and where I was staying. David was already there when I arrived, sitting on a bench, looking tired. "Hey," I said, sitting down but keeping distance between us. "Hey." He didn't look at me at first. I read it. Everything. And I'm trying to process it," he said. "Because some of it, Rachel, some of that stuff, I was there for. I remember those family dinners. I remember some of those comments. But I guess I didn't realize how bad it was. Because it wasn't happening to you," I said, not accusingly, just factually. He nodded. "Yeah." Jennifer said the same thing. She said I had blinders on because Mom never treated me that way. He finally looked at me. "I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry I told you that you were being dramatic. I'm sorry I didn't see it." The apology cracked something in me. "Thank you," I whispered. "But I need you to understand," he continued. "Mom is a mess right now. She's humiliated. People from church are calling her. People are unfriending her on Facebook. Some of her friends are asking her to explain. She feels like you've destroyed her entire life. She feels like I destroyed her life by telling the truth about how she treated me." "I know how it sounds," he said. "But she's still our mom, Rachel. And she's hurting. I've been hurting for years, David." Where was her concern about that? He sighed. "You're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm not asking you to take anything back. I'm asking you what happens now. Because this family is fractured, and I don't know how to fix it. Maybe it can't be fixed, I said softly. Maybe it's been broken for a long time, and we've all just been pretending it wasn't. So what? We just all go our separate ways. We stop being a family. We can still be family, David. But it has to be a different kind of family. One where people are held accountable. One where I'm not expected to set myself on fire to keep everyone else warm. He was quiet for a long moment. What would it take for you to even consider reconciliation with Mom? I thought carefully. A real apology. Not, I'm sorry you were hurt. Not, I didn't mean it that way. A genuine acknowledgement of what she did and how it affected me. Therapy, probably. For both of us. And time. A lot of time. And if she can't do that, then I'll have to accept that I have a mother who loves the idea of me more than she loves the real me. And I'll have to find peace with that. David nodded slowly. I'll talk to her. I'll try to get her to see a therapist. But Rachel, I can't promise anything. I know, I said. And honestly, David, I'm not waiting around for her to change. I'm moving forward with my life either way. You're still moving, he asked. Yeah, I got the job offer. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Does Mom know? No. And I'm not telling her. If she wants to know what's happening in my life, she can start by treating me like a person instead of a disappointment. We sat in silence for a while, watching kids play on the playground nearby. Finally, David stood up. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I know I didn't say that enough growing up. But I am. I stood too, and he pulled me into a hug. Thanks, David. Call me when you get settled in the new city? I will. As I watched him walk away, I realized something. I had spent so much of my life waiting for my family to change, waiting for my mom to see me, waiting for validation that might never come. But I didn't need to wait anymore. I could give myself what they couldn't. The next week was chaos. More Facebook drama. More family members picking sides. More messages from people I barely knew sharing their opinions. But I stayed off social media. I focused on packing, on preparing for my move, on building the life I actually wanted. My mom never called, never texted, never reached out privately. But I heard through David that she'd shut down her Facebook account entirely. That she'd stopped going to church because she couldn't face people. That she'd told Aunt Susan I had destroyed her reputation. Part of me felt guilty. A small part. But the larger part of me knew that her reputation was built on a false narrative, and all I did was remove the foundation of lies. 3 days before my move, there was a knock on Maya's door. We both froze. Please don't let it be her, Maya said. I looked through the peephole. It wasn't my mom. It was David, and he wasn't alone. Jennifer was with him, and they were holding something. I opened the door. Hey, what's this? Moving present, Jennifer said, smiling sadly. She handed me a box. Inside was a collection of framed photos. Me as a kid. Me at graduation. Me and David as children. Me and Aunt Susan at a family party. Carefully curated memories that didn't include my mother. We thought you might want these, David said. For your new place. So you remember that family isn't just one person. It's the people who see you and love you for who you are. I burst into tears. Jennifer hugged me while I sobbed, releasing months of tension and grief and relief all at once. Thank you, I managed to say. Thank you for understanding. We're going to visit you, Jennifer said. In your new city. With the kids. We'll make it a fun trip. I'd like that, I said. After they left, I looked at the photos. In every single one, I was smiling. Really smiling. Not the forced smile I wore at the family gatherings where my mom criticized me, but genuine happiness. I added those frames to my moving boxes, ready for a new chapter. Moving day came. Maya helped me load the last boxes into my car. I can't believe you're really leaving, she said. I can't believe I'm really doing this, I admitted. Starting over in a new city, away from all the drama. Away from the toxicity, she corrected. You're not running away, Rachel. You're running towards something better. I love you, I said, hugging her tightly. Thank you for everything. For letting me crash here. For supporting me. For believing me. Always, she said. As I drove away from the city I'd grown up in, I thought about that voicemail. Don't ever come back. At the time, It felt like the cruelest thing my mother could say. Now, it felt like permission. Permission to leave. Permission to build a life that wasn't centered around earning her approval. Permission to choose myself. My phone was in the passenger seat, finally back on. No missed calls from my mom. No desperate texts. Just silence. And surprisingly, that silence didn't hurt. It felt like space. Like freedom. 6 months later, I was settled in my new city. I had a great job, an apartment I loved, friends I'd made through work and hobbies. I was seeing a therapist to work through the years of emotional damage. I was learning what healthy relationships looked like. I was healing. David and Jennifer visited twice, bringing the kids. We had good visits, filled with laughter and no drama. Aunt Susan called every few weeks to check in. I had family. Just a different version than I'd grown up with. One evening, my phone rang. Unknown number again. But this time, I recognized the area code. My hometown. Against my better judgment, I answered. Rachel? The voice was small, uncertain. It was my mother. Hi, Mom. She paused. I didn't think you'd answer. I almost didn't. I'm calling because my therapist suggested I reach out. I've been seeing someone. A therapist. Since everything happened. Okay, I said carefully. She's been helping me see things. About how I treated you. About why I treated you that way. About my own issues with control and image and... She took a shaky breath. And I'm calling to say I'm sorry. I waited. Silence stretched between us. I'm sorry for comparing you to other people, she continued, her voice thick with emotion. I'm sorry for the comments about your age and your relationship status. I'm sorry for making you feel like you weren't good enough. I'm sorry for that voicemail. I'm sorry for the Facebook post. I'm sorry for all of it, Rachel. You deserved better from me. You deserved a mother who celebrated who you are, not who I wanted you to be. Tears were streaming down my face. Thank you, I whispered. I'm not asking you to forgive me right now, she said. My therapist says I can't expect that. I'm just asking if maybe someday we could talk. Really talk. Not me criticizing and you defending. Just talking. I'd like that, I said. Someday. When I'm ready. Take all the time you need, she said. I'll be here. And Rachel. Yeah, I'm proud of you. For setting boundaries. For standing up for yourself. For building a life that makes you happy. I should have told you that years ago. After we hung up, I sat in my apartment, processing everything. I didn't know if my mom and I would ever have the relationship I'd wanted as a child. But maybe we could have something else. Something real. Something built on honesty instead of pretense. Or maybe we wouldn't. Maybe the damage was too deep. Either way, I would be okay. Because the voicemail that said don't ever come back had set me free. And the 47 missed calls that followed showed me who was really in control all along. It wasn't about revenge. It was never about revenge. It was about refusing to disappear just because someone found my existence inconvenient. So let me ask you something. If someone in your life told you that you were dead to them, would you keep begging for their approval? Or would you finally believe them and build a life that doesn't revolve around earning love you should have never had to earn in the first place? My mom wanted me gone until she realized gone meant no longer available to control. The best revenge isn't grand gestures or public humiliation. Sometimes, it's just living well without them. And if my story made you think about your own toxic relationships, drop a comment below. Tell me what boundary you need to set. Tell me who you need to stop apologizing to. Because reading these comments, knowing I'm not alone, knowing you're not alone, that's how we heal. And hey, if you want more stories about people who chose themselves over toxic family dynamics, hit that subscribe button. Because here at Revenge Time, we believe self-preservation isn't selfish. It's survival. Now go live your life on your terms. Trust me, it's worth it.